Okay, good morning. It's Coach Charlie and Coach Vijay from Detroit Catholic Central JV Tennis.
JV Tennis, yeah.
And this is our first episode, podcast of Beyond the Net. And Coach Vijay had this amazing idea back in the summer when we were playing tennis right here at the courts. And Vijay said, Charlie, what do you think? We should do a podcast? And of course I said,
Well,
yeah.
I thought you were going to say, "Oh, come on, cut it out." And I was so he goes, "It'd be so awesome."
Yeah,
And
for
I
sure.
go, "Wow, this might work."
Yeah, of course. And with the help from the team here at CC in the audiovisual and communications department, they were able to set this up today. So we entitled our podcast Beyond the Net. And
Well,
I
you
think
came up with that title. I like the title.
and I think I know it'll evolve, and we'll have some feedback from all of you who listen, and we'll continue to move forward.
Yeah, this is all new to me. I know you already do one,
Yeah.
and so I'm following in your footsteps.
Okay.
I'm going to let you take the lead.
Yeah, of course. And I think what in my with the company that I'm blessed to be a part of, we always talk about that red thread, right? What is that connects all of the different departments that in business create the outputs of the revenue that keep the lights on and allows the business to grow and families to support and our associates to support their families. And I think the red thread here, as you just talked about
Well,
before we started.
you just mentioned that 2 minutes before we
Yeah.
started this, and what's a red thread? But our,
It's okay, no worry, I just dropped my phone.
I think our red thread, quote unquote, is what's on our crest, right?
I agree.
Right?
For sure.
Goodness, discipline, knowledge.
No doubt.
And we try to weave that in to our coaching, our play, and like I said, I've never heard of that term, but that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's great to see that not only the podcast come to life, which is a small piece of it, but the words on our crest come to life with every interaction I've had since I've been here for 3 years, and I know for Vijay, he's been here for 6. And I think it's probably a good idea to just talk a little bit about how we were blessed to get connected to CC, right? And how that all happened. So Vijay, why don't you talk about that for a
Well, I
minute?
always tell Coach Robbie, who's our head varsity coach, a friend of mine before this. I tell her I was just a blind squirrel and I found a nut, because I'm a retired engineer, 35 years as an engineer. Doing this was not even on my horizon. It wasn't even.
I know.
It wasn't even in my view. And then, but I played tennis all my life,
Yeah.
and that was kind of the connection with Robbie. And she sent out an email. I remember I get this email out of nowhere from Robbie looking for a JV coach, and I go, "There's no way. I mean, I don't have the credentials to be a coach."
Right.
And so I said, "Okay, I'll put my name in." And then Robbie calls me. We go to lunch at Shaker's right here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're talking, and we had a nice lunch, a nice chat. And then I get up, and I have to leave, and I go, "Okay, just let me know one way or the other." And thinking, there's no way. And she goes, "Where are you going?" I go, just let me know. He goes, "You got the job." I got the job. And she
God.
goes the punchline. "You're the only guy who applied."
Oh, that's great. Oh, my God. So you were highly favored, Vijay.
Yeah, and then
to get
the first
position.
year, Jake, who's the assistant varsity coach now, was the JV head coach.
Yeah.
And I actually learned a lot from him. Another story about Jake. So I get there early the first day of tryouts, and I'm signing in people, and this kid walks up, and I go, "Yeah, what's your name?" He kind of looks at me. It was Jake.
Because he looked so young.
Yeah.
You thought he was a player?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And so the next year, Jake became the assistant varsity coach. Excuse me. And I'm in Ohio going somewhere. I forgot where. Robbie calls me and says, "Hey, how'd you like to be the head JV coach?"
It's so great.
In 1 year, I got promoted.
That's so good, Vic.
And then Then I met you. We
Yeah.
were playing in a tennis league,
Yeah,
and I
at the Fish Hatchery in Northville.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I go to Robbie, hey, I got because we were looking for an assistant.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I go, you should really talk to Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
He would be great. And then
Yeah.
she talked to you, and the rest is
Yeah,
history.
the rest is history. And you've been here how long?
6 years. This is my sixth season.
That's
and
amazing.
I've enjoyed every season.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And like Robbie says, every season's got a little bit of turbulence.
Yeah, of course.
And but nothing to make me not enjoy it.
No, of course. Yeah, for sure. And for me, very similar to you, V, it was the connection with Robbie.
No.
I've been playing in the Michigan Senior Olympics since 2007. And in 2022, I was blessed to be able to go to the Nationals in Florida in May. And I knew I needed to fine-tune my game, so I asked the people at Novi Athletic Club for a coach.
A recommendation.
Yeah, a recommendation. After telling them about my game, they said, "No, you gotta go with Coach Robbie." And met Coach Robbie, and by far, and I've said this publicly, and she's clearly saying it now, she's the best coach I've ever had. And I've been blessed to go to Bolletary and Harry Hopman and Litchfield Beach and get coaching from various different coaches. But her method of coaching is all about the person. It's not just about the stroke, it's about the person. So that made me feel very, very comfortable. And then after several lessons, she said, I'm a big believer in that the Holy Spirit puts people in our lives for a reason. And I think you could be a great addition to our JV tennis coaching team with Coach Vijay and help our boys and our students. And I said, I would love to. At the time, I had just started a job in April of 22 as a chief growth officer for Troll Clothing and Welder Nation, which is a company out of Lloydminster, Alberta, that honors blue collar workers all over the globe with a slogan, "Dirty Hands and Clean Money," to really honor those tradespeople who build our countries.
Yeah, build our nation.
And I needed to find a way to make time. And VJ, you were so accommodating, as was Coach Robbie, and also Coach Jake. And I've been here. This is my third season, and each season gets better because I think that I continue to learn and evolve as a coach and get to know a little bit more about what their needs are on the court and then beyond the net.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's
I
amazing,
can tell
right?
the boys love you.
Well, thanks, V. I appreciate that, and they love you too. I mean, it's special. It's very special. What Coach Robbie and VJ have built.
I feel so privileged.
Me too.
To come here and do this.
Me too.
I'm sorry.
No, please go.
It's a lot different. I have two sons. Both went here, class of 15 and class of 17. I never thought I'd be doing this.
Right.
But when you're involved as much as we are,
Yeah.
it is a totally different feeling of I don't know what the accomplishment. I don't know, but when at our courts we have the banners up of the varsity players, and I look on that, and every year I look on that and see how many guys. There's the phenoms that come on, boom,
Yeah,
they're
of
on
course.
varsity.
Yeah, that just come in.
Yeah, and then how many guys I'd like to say I helped develop to get on. And so this year, 12 out of 17, right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
12 out of 17 came through JV.
It's amazing, and I think in addition to building a great program, it's also for us individually, V. It's our little legacy too, right? That we're blessed to bring students along in the world of tennis, but certainly in their lives, and it's very, very powerful. And what I tell my wife Renee about when I go home and talk about the practice or the game or the tournament, there are all these like little mini highlights that keep happening. They keep happening, and I talk to my good friends about it as well. And one of the most impactful highlights for me in my 3 years happened against our arch rival Brother Rice this season. And
Yeah, last week.
So Coach Rondo asked you, would it be okay that we should say a prayer together as a team?
Oh, yes.
As a team.
Yeah.
And Vijay, you were kind enough to come over to Charlie. Would you
Oh,
like
well, I told him I got the best guy for this.
Well, thanks. Would you like to say the prayer and to have our arch rivals together and then have the parents of our CC team, but also the parents of Brother Rice there as we say, Heavenly Father, please bless our athletes, bless our time on the tennis courts. Let them live in the spirit of goodness, discipline, and knowledge. In all glory to you. And I looked around for a minute, V, and it was like, this is one of the most powerful things on a tennis court I've ever done.
That's the first time we did it. Coach Ron, kudos to Coach Rondo. He said, he said, can we do a prayer before the match?
Yeah.
And I thought he meant individually, right?
Yeah.
Team. And he goes, no, together. So kudos to him for suggesting that. That's the first time we've ever done that. We've done prayers before.
Yeah, for sure.
But as separate teams.
That was great.
Yeah.
And the feedback from both the Brother Rice parents and our parents was impactful. Even so, this past Saturday when I was out in Romeo, one of the Brother Rice parents recognized me and just talked about how special she thought it was to have that prayer before the match, which was very powerful. So 3 years for me, 6 years for you.
Yep.
We're off to a great start here in 2024.
Let's go over that, Charlie.
Let's talk about some statistics, Coach, which is what the data drives the results, right? I'm giving you a high five here, which is always good.
Yeah, we've had a really good season. Although last week we took our first JV. So we have two JVs, JV A and JV B, and the A guys are more advanced, more skilled. Some of those guys are on their way to varsity, but and then the B guys we're developing them. We're developing them in their strokes, strategy, all that. So our A right now, we've had a lot of matches compared to I've talked to other teams and we're only on our fourth match. Fourth. We're
on 15th. And it'd be like you say, what's happening is other schools are calling us to play us.
To play us, yeah. Which
we're like a hot commodity here at Detroit Catholic Central.
So our A is 78-17, 8-1-1, 8 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie, and our 1 loss was last week at Cranbrook, which is always a tough place. When they're awesome court. Courts and all that.
The environment is tough. Yeah, my first time there it was. Yeah, it's very intimidating for sure.
And then B is 59-36. So overall, we're 137-53 in matches. That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
Not bad.
No, I would say it's really good.
14-4-2. B is 6-3-1 in win-loss ties. But we're having a great season.
No doubt. Yeah. And it's a testimony to you, Vijay, because you've established such a foundation of...
I don't know about that. But.
Well, it's true. And I know you're so humble, and that's why I love you like a brother. What you've created in terms of the voluntary practices, the mandatory practices, Sunday afternoon practice with these young men who just are so at ease. They're at ease all the time, but when it's a voluntary practice, there's a sense of, okay, we can work on a lot of things. And you've done a great job of setting that foundation that people and our students at Detroit Catholic Central can now just plug right into. So it's like in business for me, I know I very rarely worry about the revenue, although I worry about everything, but I really stay focused on the process. And that's what you're a big believer in, is the process. Let's just follow the process team of working on our mechanics, working on our footwork, working on strategy, understanding our weaknesses, understanding our strengths. And you've done a great job of and allowed me to be part of it to feed into that process here at Detroit Catholic Central.
Right, and we never discipline kids for hitting shots out.
No.
Losing, nothing. The only thing we ask for is the E word, effort.
Yeah, for sure.
Effort.
Yeah, for sure.
On every point, and that's all we ask for. And I do get a little, I don't know, testy if I don't see it.
Of course, me too. Well, because it's not only those who are putting forth extra effort. It's them seeing their colleagues perhaps not giving the same effort, and that can have a rippling effect on the team itself, right? And what we've established here, what we're trying to establish, is not only a team but a culture within the JV team that they can bring on to varsity, because the cadence for them will be that they will
No, I
do
love that
this
word.
together,
Yep. Mhm.
and I think building that foundation and holding each other accountable, and I'm starting to see that a little bit more, even in practices where it's always a lot of fun, but it's also very serious that, and you've always said this to the guys, when you come here to practice or to warm up, everything is with purpose, everything. And they are now sensing, wow, it's probably the right thing to do. And I think they are insisting that the others do that as well, rather than just hitting a ball aimlessly or skipping around and without purpose.
When we first started voluntary practice, that's what would happen.
Yeah.
There was no purpose to it, and after talking with you, we said, we got to change this. This is opportune time. This is an opportunity here
Yeah, for sure.
for you to get better, and you just shouldn't come around and screw around with your friends.
Yeah, of course.
Come here with a purpose.
Yeah.
I'm going to work on my serve. I'm going to work on my whatever. And then, so I think we're seeing that more.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, when I was, honored to talk to the parents and the team, and you were kind enough to say you liked that, you liked the quote, which was, and especially for our tennis
At our
team,
banquet, yeah.
yeah.
I love that quote.
The magic that we're seeking is hidden in the work that we're avoiding.
Yeah.
And I don't want to bore the kids with our players with constantly saying that, but I think they're seeing that, right? The more that they work on the things that are really, really hard, the easier it's going to get, and then the results will follow, right? So it's powerful, and the results are showing it. I think we practice more than any JV team in my short tenure here around the state, if you will. I think we do a great job of keeping our students here at Catholic Central very, very fit, tennis fit, if you will, by making it a constant beat of the drum to be on the tennis court.
Well, I think it also goes back to our boss, right, Robbie?
Yeah, for sure.
She is. I don't know of other coaches, maybe there are, but that develop players, that are developing players from a very young age.
Yeah.
And kind of, I don't want to say funneling, but kind of exposing them to CC culture early.
For sure.
And we see so many of these kids, and then she gives us these kids that are pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah, and I love.
And Jake does the same thing.
They do. Robbie and Coach Robbie and Coach Jake do a great job of giving us insights.
Every year she goes, you have the number 3 ranked JV team in the state. I go, who's keeping track of this?
Right? Where's that data come from, Robbie? But we'll take it. We'll take it. Any plaudit we can receive. We're certainly going to take, and it's a testimony to what's being built here.
So we talked about what we're going to do in these podcasts, and one of the things we're going to do, if we do this weekly, I'd like to do it weekly.
Me too.
Is just do a week in review.
Yeah.
And just go over our matches, highlight some players.
Yeah, for sure.
So if we go back a week, we'll talk about our first loss at
Cranbrook. Yeah, I think that'd be great.
That was a tough match.
Those
Those guys are always good.
JV A and B were there
yeah.
in 2 different
And
locations.
Coach Danny always has his players prepared.
Oh, for sure.
Like I said, we took our first loss, but I'd like to. You were on the A side. I went to the B side.
I was.
And you were there to witness.
Yeah, Jack and
on
Brody.
court 2, Jack and Brody, 2 freshman players.
Yeah.
That go ahead.
2 freshman players that were playing Cranbrook's really top 4 players, and 2 of them are on the court with Brody and with Jack. And they won the first set 6-2, Vijay?
6-3.
They won the first set 6-3, and then on one play, Jack's dad came over and said, "Coach, I think Jack hurt himself."
So he hurt himself in the first set?
Just starting the second.
Okay.
So as he's starting the second set, he twists awkwardly, and he had an upper thigh injury. So Jack's dad says, "Coach, is there anything you can do?" And I said, "Of course. Certainly don't pretend or would ever suggest that I have any medical expertise, but being a player, being aware of my own body and how it works, I knew that there were certain stretches that we could do gently to get the spasm out of Jack's upper leg. So I went onto the court, gave him a towel, gave him the stretches to do, and I insisted that Jack do them on every change. But I also insisted, and Jack and I shook on it, that if the pain gets any worse than it is now, I'm going to take you off the court.
We have to forfeit. Yeah.
So Brody and Jack are like brothers in tennis, and their ability to help one another get through it. But they lost the second set 0-6.
0-6.
And now we go to a 10-point tiebreaker, and Jack is absolutely dragging his leg around. It reminded me years ago of Willis Reed of the New York Knicks coming out of the locker room. Yeah, back in the 60s.
I don't think anybody
here would understand
in this building wouldn't know
but it was a classic moment. And Jack found a way with Brody's encouragement to get it done and win.
Yeah, they won the tiebreak 10-6.
And won a tiebreak 10-6. And one of the sweetest things that happened was Brody came off and said, "Coach, Jack carried me through the tiebreak." So it was just one of those amazing moments. And, Jack has had to take a few days off. And like we just said, has been cleared for practice
for
tomorrow's game
against Brighton.
But
you also told me the opponent said something, right?
Yeah. So I'm Jack's dad is thanking me for, and of course honored to Jack. And Jack said, "Coach, I couldn't have done it without you." I said, "Well, you probably could have, but I just gave a few stretches." But what Jack's dad overheard was one of the Cranbrooks, one of the parents of the Cranbrooks #2 team said, "I'm a little disappointed in the Catholic Central coach. He should have been more concerned about the player and taken him off the court." And I said, "Well, that's an unfortunate comment, Mr. Logars." But he said, "Yeah, I'm not worried about it, but I just want you to be aware of it because they're all kind of sitting up there on those stadium seats." I says, that doesn't bother me in the least because I know I did what was correct.
Yeah, if you thought he was going to further injure himself,
I would have taken him in 2 seconds.
Right
but the bottom line is, she wanted them to forfeit the match so her son could win because they were undefeated until we played them in that match. So the backstory came out as it evolved, and it turned out to be a great testimony to Jack and Brody and what hopefully we're teaching them.
Yeah. And then I'd also like to highlight Max and Sean.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I said, you were over on the A side.
Yeah.
And you come over to the B side where we were still playing after A finished. And they lost the first set 3-6.
Yep.
Won 6-4, and then they won 10-7. But the winning point in the tiebreak, you said you told Max, "Go for it," or something.
Yeah. So oftentimes our students, our players, get a little
anxious
and a little tight at those moments.
Yeah, I do.
And when I'm on the sidelines, and sometimes I have to check myself because I'm a little vocal, but because I just
little vocal. Yeah. I can hear you over on the other side.
And Max has adopted the theme, like after a great shot, he'll say, "All day, baby, all day, baby." So Max was doing that a lot. And as the match progressed, more of the parents were not only sitting down by the court, but they're up in the stands.
Uh-huh.
So I called Max and Sean over. I said, "Guys, here's what I'd like you to do. You got the opponents, like their tribe is surrounding you. I don't want you to hold back, Max. I just want you to rip it. and he gets out there, Vijay, and serves I don't think it was an ace, but he served a winner to win the tiebreaker. So it was just an emotional moment for all of us, and it was so great to see to see our team against Cranbrook.
What I always enjoy is in a match, hey guys, come on over here, do this,
Yeah.
and they actually go and do it.
They do. It is good. Sometimes it's so interesting when they don't. They're very contrite when they come see me the next time. And I say, "Sorry, coach. I know I didn't get the first serve." And I said, "It's okay. Let's just try to put it in play. Let's
Or hit it cross court.
Yeah, hit it. Right, exactly. But it was a great day for Catholic Central at Cranbrook on last week. It was very powerful.
Yeah. And then
How about on the B side?
well, I'm getting to that.
Yeah, that was
Don't
great.
rush me.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
So Saturday we had an all-day tournament.
Oh,
The
my God.
B had an all-day tournament at 3 different sites on the east side, and I think we did pretty good. We were 1-6 in tie breaks. If we could have just won half of those,
Yeah.
we would have been, I think, in second place. Or
And where
third
were
place.
this? We were Utica, Stony,
Utica,
and
Stony, and
Romeo. Or I was.
Romeo.
Yeah.
And it was so close. If we could have won a couple of those tie breaks, we would have surely ended up higher. But but we did have 3 medal winners. Dave and
Johnny.
got
Evan.
well. Dave and Johnny got second.
Right.
Evan got
On the back
on the back
road,
side,
they
back
got
row.
fifth.
Yeah, and then Cooper.
Yeah.
He got second too. They were both in the finals, and he got
Great
got
experience for the boys.
second. Yeah,
And it's all
B boys.
Yeah, and it was all day.
Yeah.
I mean, we got there at 8 and we didn't leave till 4:30.
Yeah,
So-
and these kids. I mean, a lot of these kids aren't used to playing 3 full matches in a day.
Oh yeah.
I don't think anybody else does that except high school.
It was testimony to their fitness too,
Yeah.
that they got through
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
realized that they need to be more fit
Yeah.
if this is what they want to do.
Yeah. But I thought, the record, yeah, but I thought we had a good day.
Oh, powerful day. And like we always say, it's we certainly love the wins, but if we see the effort and it doesn't necessarily give us a victory in the moment.
No, when we play, right? I could play
Yeah, exactly.
the best game of my
Yeah.
day, and you still beat me.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you and I, we play every morning here. And it's the other thing that we do.
Uh-oh. That was not planned.
That must mean I'm late for class, DJ. I better get there before I get a detention. But when we play in the mornings here, we have invited, and it hasn't worked out this season because I think their homeroom or their early class starts when we get here at sunrise. But one of the varsity parents, one of the varsity players' mom, Heather, comes out and
Hits with us.
Hits with us in the mornings when she can before work, and we hit for an hour, and it's great. And what you have.
Well, in the summer, Tyler came out.
Oh yeah, Tyler and Patrick
yeah.
came out and played with us too.
And Zach Zopchek.
And Zach came out as well. So it's a process that's growing here in the excitement around Detroit Catholic Central tennis. It's a very, very strong program.
I think-
Only getting stronger.
Yeah, let's go back to when I started. We when my son was here, we barely had a JV.
Yeah.
We barely. Well, I think we didn't have 16.
And how many did we have this year? Try out for JV?
Oh, we had 30, almost 40 kids.
Yeah,
Right.
amazing.
So when I started, we had 1 JV, and now we have 2 squads. Right.
Amazing.
Right.
Yeah, amazing.
It's growing. Once again, going back to Robbie and how she's developing the program with camps and lessons and
Yeah.
build-
Process.
yeah. Like you said, it's a process.
For sure.
Yeah, it starts way early
Yeah.
before CC.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So what do we got coming up this week, Coach?
Well, tomorrow we play Brighton,
Yeah.
and then
JV and varsity.
well,
Varsity's there.
yeah.
Oh, and
yeah,
we're
yeah,
here. Okay.
Yeah. And then
A and B will play.
Well, some of B will play tomorrow.
Okay.
And then we end we end
With a flurry.
With a flurry. We have Skyline, Bloomfield Hills, Seaholm. Then we have once again our second invite on a Saturday out on the east side. Then Novi and Stony Creek. Those are all tough teams.
They really are.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Stony especially. We saw them at the.
Well, Bloomfield Hills.
Yeah,
They're gonna
for
be
sure.
tough, yeah.
That'll be great. And is Bloomfield Hills here?
No, we're away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, we only have Brighton and then Skyline Monday. That's our home.
Home schedule.
Yeah.
Okay,
the rest
good.
Is, rest is away. But what else do we want to talk about? Let me check my.
Let's check our little roster of things, make sure we don't miss anything as we wrap up our first session of Beyond the Net.
Beyond the Net. Yeah, we talked about.
Our history, talked
yeah.
about the players,
Yeah,
we
we
talked
got,
about the teams. Let's talk a little bit before we go. And talking to Coach Robbie yesterday, because we were rained out and we saw it at Nova Athletic Club, and we got to hit with Coach Robbie for about 15 minutes, which was glorious.
And she says she wants to do more of that.
Yeah, she does.
I love it.
Yeah, and Robbie also committed with me that she's going to be my partner in mixed doubles in the Senior Olympics next year, which would be great.
Oh, you should play.
And then you and I you're going to play singles. I'll play singles, and you are going to play doubles.
Okay.
So it'll be amazing. And wherever the
Ann Arbor tournament.
Ann Arbor tournament coming up, we'll do that as
I think
well.
Robbie told me she's won that a couple of times.
She has, and yeah, I guess we can talk about our participation in our Arbor tournament. Me on the singles court, and then us together as doubles. We didn't show up very well.
No, we didn't.
We were schooled. I think that's the appropriate
That's the right word.
We were schooled by Gary Cade, and then one of the dads of
Justin. I forgot his last name, but his dad. Yeah. Tron. Yeah.
Yes.
Justin Tron's dad. Yeah.
Yeah, and his partner,
Yeah.
who was probably nearing 80 years old.
Oh, I thought he was about 90. No, I'm kidding.
Beat us soundly.
Yeah.
And we were not on our
And
game.
here's the worst part. So there's some other CC players sitting in the stands watching us, and they're going, "These are our coaches."
Right. That's so true. Oh my God! But we had fun anyway. But looking forward to that. But what Coach Robbie talked about for the varsity team, that they have a chance to be number 3 in the state this year, which I thought was pretty amazing. And they were number 5 last year, correct?
Well, they're number 5 right now.
Number 5 right now.
But Robbie's very excited about what's coming up.
She's built a great program with Coach Jake and the team, and I'm sure they're looking forward to they'll be in Grand Rapids
For states.
early
Well,
October.
first, let's not jump there. They
Yeah,
got
right. They
into
got to get
regionals.
regions. Yeah. That's great. Okay. Well, I think we've covered
I've checked everything that was on my list that I sent you.
and I think we've done that.
Yeah.
So I think on the next episode of Beyond the Net, we'll give you more updates.
Well, we might have a special guest.
We might have a special guest, which would be great, and we can't say that though.
No, we won't.
We have to keep that as a surprise, and we can do that. What a great idea! We can do that on several episodes.
Yeah.
Let's.
We got lots of people we can.
We have lots of special guests we can bring on, which would be great, and we again we appreciate the team here in the communications department who have made this idea that you had on the tennis courts.
So
back in the
walking
summer.
up here this morning,
Yeah.
I go, man, what am I? This is pretty fun.
It is fun.
Just a conversation.
It's all it is,
Yeah.
and it's what we do normally anyway.
That's
Right? It's what we do normally anyway.
I'm going, okay, I got to say this.
No.
It's just like,
you
this
just-
is fun.
You just talk through
Yeah.
it. So I think it was great. So
Yeah.
Vijay, thanks, brother.
Yeah.
Love it.
Let's
And
go play.
Let's go play some tennis now, and we'll see you next time on Beyond the Net.
Yep.